Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. I'm a producer and a mix engineer in Nashville, Tennessee. And today, from a music producer's perspective, I'm gonna review the Apple AirPods Max. So I spend hours every single day listening to music on different studio monitors and different pairs of headphones. I have literally thousands and thousands of hours on very high-end headphones. There'll be links in the description if you would like to pick a pair of these up. If you use those links, it helps this channel out just a little bit and I would really appreciate it. But today, what I want to talk about in this video is the build quality, the comfort, the controls, the battery life, the noise canceling, the transparent mode, and then of course the sound quality. What does a Billboard charting mix engineer think about how these sound? Now, while I would love it if you watch this whole review, if you have seen plenty of other reviews on these headphones and you just want to get to my thoughts on the sound quality, you can skip ahead to this time right here. So build quality, I think they're built really well actually. They're all metal, they feel very sturdy, they feel very premium. They are a bit heavy. They come in at 386 grams or 13.6 ounces. So they feel stout and thick and heavy, sturdy one might say. But we're gonna talk more about this when we get to the comfort section. This case might be the worst case I've ever seen for any product I've ever bought ever, and certainly the worst headphone case I've ever seen. It does basically nothing to protect the headphones at all. The charge port doesn't line up at all. This is a very un-Apple-like product in my opinion. This is not well thought out. The only pro that I can see to this case is that it does allow you to keep the same adjustment, the same size setting for your head while in this case, which is something that other headphone cases don't do. It's the only positive thing I can come up with to say about this case. I strongly dislike this case. These headphones do charge via Lightning for right now. If you've been keeping up with the Apple thing, you know that this may be changing soon. The controls feel great. The ear cups feel great. Everything is of very high quality, other than that case. Now for comfort, they are on the heavy side, but I didn't find them to be uncomfortable. Now I've worn them for pretty long periods of time at this point. I never got tired of wearing them. My ears or my head never really got hot. I think they are above average in the comfort department, especially for how heavy they actually are. The mesh headband does a good job. The ear cups feel nice. Now, as far as the controls go, one of the more interesting things to me about these headphones is they will actually not activate or connect if you put them on backwards. There's a right and a left side. And somehow, it's beyond me how Apple has done this, somehow they know if they're on backwards, if the left side is on the right side of your face. That's pretty nuts, but somehow they know, and so you have to put them on the correct way in order to activate the headphones. Once they're on your head in the correct orientation, there's a button that changes between transparency and noise canceling mode. The button feels great. More on noise canceling and transparency later because it's pretty incredible. The volume knob on these headphones is really precise. It's way more precise than if you were using just the buttons on your phone, so I really like it for that. It's a pretty large volume button, so it's easy to grab and turn. This volume control also serves as a push button for like your stop and your fast forward or next and your back controls. Now, my only real critique on the controls of these headphones is that since the volume control is on the back right-hand side, it is impossible to control the volume with your left hand. If you have something in your right hand, you need to control the volume. You can't get to it with your left hand hardly at all. I'm not sure I would have preferred it in any different spot, just something I wanted to know. Now, battery life. Apple claims up to 20 hours on these headphones. I'm not convinced I got 20 hours out of them. I recently used them on a trip to Arizona, so I put them on my head from the time I got to the airport, kept them on almost the entire plane ride there, and then wore them for a few hours while we were in Arizona. Once I got back to the airport to come home, I put them on my head, and they were on my head for most of the time I was in the airport and the entire plane ride home. So I probably wore them for about 10 hours without charging them. And when I got home, I had like 18% battery left. And I was changing between the different settings, transparency and noise canceling. They were going on and off of my head. But I think the battery life is more than adequate, as I could do a whole whole trip and use them how I wanted to use them without needing to charge them. So I find that's fine to me. But that leads me to my next point, the noise canceling. Let me see if I can put this in a way that is not too hyperbolic. I don't want to exaggerate. The noise canceling on these headphones is the best I've ever heard of any headphones ever, full stop. In an airplane or in a car, it basically completely eliminates the wind or engine noise from an airplane or a car. Any sort of droney noise or any sort of wind noise that is not wind actually blowing on the headphones. We'll talk about that in a second. It is pretty incredible how it just completely eliminates this altogether. It made the airplane ride very enjoyable because I could listen to my music and my podcasts at a much lower volume because I wasn't having to compete with this noise of the engine, and even other noise canceling headphones or other noise canceling earbuds didn't do as good of a job at completely eliminating the noise, which means I had to listen to things at a higher volume. Very relaxing, wonderful noise cancellation. And as good as the noise canceling is, somehow it's not as impressive as the transparent mode. Now, for those of you that don't know, transparent mode is where you can wear your headphones or your earbuds, and it's supposed to sound like you're not wearing any. There are 8 microphones around these headphones, and they take in noise from all different directions, and they pass that noise through to the headphones so you hear what's actually coming in. These microphones gives you the impression you're not wearing any. Now, lots of headphones have these, lots of earbuds have these, but I've never quite heard it as perfect as these headphones. Not only does it really give you the illusion that you're not wearing headphones, you can still accurately hear the environment, the room noise, which direction things are coming from, in front of you, behind you, above you. I don't know how they're doing that. Transparent mode is incredible on these headphones. But chances are, if you clicked on this video, you've already watched other reviews of these headphones and you would like to know what a music industry professional, a Billboard charting mix engineer, thinks about the sound quality of these headphones. Now, everything we've talked about so far, except for this stupid case, I think these are great. But when we get to sound quality, they're fine. If I had to sum it up in one word, they're just fine. Now, I do want you to keep in mind that I have literally thousands of hours of real critical listening on some of the best headphones ever made in all of history. So my perspective is a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more advanced than the average listener. Let's get a little bit more nuanced with it and really pick these apart. The note definition in the sub bass, so we're talking 100 hertz and below, it definitely leaves something to be desired. I think there is a decent amount of sub bass, but the clarity of it and the note definition of it is it's just fine. It feels to me as if Apple was being a bit optimistic with their total harmonic distortion rating of these headphones. For those of you that don't know, THD, or total harmonic distortion, is at a particular volume how much distortion is present in the sound of them. Now, I would say from a volume of about 60% on up, I can hear some audible distortion. Now, again, we're being very picky and comparing this to very high-end headphones, but they definitely sound dirtier than the best headphones that I own or the best headphones that I have used. Not something the average person would probably ever notice, but I notice it. The clarity in the mid-range and in the top end is fine. I feel like I'm gonna say that a bunch. It's just fine. It's definitely not incredible, but it is definitely more than adequate for casual listening. I would not say that the clarity of these is up to par for critical listening if you were mixing music or anything like that. I don't think I would do that. Now, the real part of what makes a quality pair of speakers or headphones is low-level information. So this is reverb tails or things that are way in the background of a mix. There's a full song playing, but there's things that are meant to be far in the background or very quiet. These are the things that are the hardest to reproduce for speakers and for headphones. So how well does a set of speakers or a pair of headphones reproduce this low-level information is a big indication of their quality. As far as the low-level information, reverb tails, they're okay. Low-level information is okay, but that kind of means we have to put this in context of their price. Now, I think overall sound quality of these is about on par with a decent $200 pair of headphones, and especially when we start talking about low-level information. So I think this means we have to actually talk about these in the context of how much they cost, because these are $550, and I think they sound pretty much on par with a decent $200 pair of headphones. That's the value I would give these from a sound quality perspective. Now, of course, we're talking about $200 wired headphones. So what I think we should ask ourselves is, how much is the best noise canceling worth? How much is the best transparency mode worth? How much is very good build quality worth? How much is it worth to have headphones in the Apple ecosystem? How much is subpar looks worth? I didn't talk about that, but I'm not necessarily a fan of how these look. They're fine, but they're far from the best looking headphones out there, in my personal opinion. And these come with fairly average sound quality. So how much is all of this put together worth? Now, to me, I do think they are worth their asking price of $550 if you look at the total package. But you really have to value the transparent mode and the noise cancellation mode, and you have to be an Apple user and be in the market for a higher end pair of headphones. Because 2/3 of the money that you're paying for this pair of headphones is because of the noise canceling and the Apple ecosystem. There are links down below if you would like to pick a pair of these up. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.